Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Pravakacharya Satarita Sri Śrīmad, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Brinda Ki, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna, all glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. Glory Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga, glory Srila Prabhupada. Om Anghyanatirandasya Ranjana Salakaya Chachurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Dadhati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Patakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sahabhetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padhan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitam Shta He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dhinabandho Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Drishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpaturu Vyashta Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachanam, pangulang hayate girim, ya kripat maham bande, Shri Gurum Dinatharanam, Namo Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prestaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine, Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pasyata Satarine. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday morning Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam class. Starting from Preaching is the Essence. And let's see here. This is the ever evasive bookmark. You never know where to start. Let's start from here. It's like I was talking yesterday to Damodar Prabhu, and he was talking about one devotee. He was saying this devotee was like a sweet ball. Any way you approach him, he's sweet anywhere you bite him. So similarly, the Shastras are like that. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is like that. Anywhere we approach it, sweet, nectarian. A Vaishnava shows compassion towards sinful, suffering entities. Prahlad Maharaj is the topmost example of a Vaishnava who is always compassionate towards sinful persons suffering a hellish life within this material world. Krishna is therefore known as Pada Dukhi Dukhi Kripam Bhuri, or one who is compassionate towards others suffering and who is an ocean of mercy. Like Prahlad Maharaj, all pure devotees of the Lord come to this material world with full compassion to deliver the sinful. They undergo all kinds of tribulations, suffering them with tolerance, because that is another qualification of a Vaishnava, one who tries to deliver all sinful persons from a hellish condition of material existence. Vaishnavas are therefore offer the following prayer. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. The chief concern of a Vaishnava is to deliver the fallen souls. This is from the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 4th canto, 21st chapter, 47th verse. So as mentioned here, Krishna is Paradukha Dukhi. He is a savior of the miserable living entities. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu, Dina Bandhu Jigapate, Gopesha Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta Namosate. Krishna is Karuna Sindhu, he's an ocean of mercy. And similarly, his devotees are even more merciful than the Lord. In the 8th canto, there's in the section where Lord Shiva, where the demigods, the demons and demigods are churning the milk ocean. They're churning to get the Amrita, the nectar of immortality. And it was interesting in this pastime how this is one of the pastimes where you see that the demons and the demigods are working together to get the desired result of this nectar of immortality. But ultimately the demigods went out and they get the nectar. But during the churning of this nectar, some poison was produced in the beginning. And then they thought, who do we approach to absorb this poison of this ocean? And then Lord Shiva was actually the Vaishnava who was chosen. Lord Shiva, that's why he's known as Nila Kanta, blue neck. Because it's said that he swallowed the poison in this ocean, he maintained his neck, he turned his neck blue. Nila Kanta. But in that section is mentioned, there's one verse that says that the devotees of the Lord almost always take voluntary suffering upon themselves for the welfare of others. So we saw Lord Shiva Shambhu, he's the greatest Vaishnava, and he took on this suffering upon himself for the benefit of the demigods, ultimately, to have them be able then to continue on with their churning for the Amrita, nectar of immortality. So similarly, we're going out there and we're getting howled at, scalded at, being called different names. But we're doing it for the benefit of that person, standing out there in the freezing cold. It's been so cold these past few days. So cold. Who in their right mind will stand for 8 hours outside, practically, to give people knowledge? I was reading in Our Family Business, one section, it was saying, avoid violence. It's very interesting how I just pull it up. Just came to mind. Avoid violence. If a devotee misses a chance to distribute a book to an eligible soul, he or she should feel pain. A kind-hearted devotee who has forgotten to have a transcendental book on hand, on meeting a receptive person, will think, oh, I am so cruel for not being prepared. And such a missed opportunity should be painful because it is a form of violence. Why? Srila Prabhupada gives the answer in this purport. People in general are trapped by ignorance in the material concept of life, and they perpetually suffer material pains. So unless one elevates people to spiritual knowledge, one is practicing violence. One should try his best to distribute real knowledge to people so that they may become enlightened and leave this material entanglement. That is nonviolence. And it continues, during an epidemic, doctors who have access to that medicine that will cure the disease are morally and ethically responsible to distribute and administer to the sick. If they neglect to do so, they are violating their Hippocratic oath. So similarly, as members of the Krishna conscious movement, we have a Hippocratic oath to give people spiritual knowledge, to give people Srila Prabhupada's books, which states in part, I will, for the benefit of the sick, apply all measures which are required. I will prevent disease whenever I can. In this same way, devotees who are doctors of the soul, who know that distributing transcendental knowledge is the pankya to alleviate people's suffering, and who are aware of the unparalleled spiritual potency of Srila Prabhupada's books, must keep them on hand to distribute them. That can be found on Our Family Business, pages 309 through 310. So yeah, this is the compassion, the compassion of the devotees. We give them, we give the souls transcendental knowledge, and also we give ourselves transcendental knowledge. It's not that these books are just meant to be distributed; they're also meant to be read. And we read them, we understand the knowledge, and then we apply the knowledge in our lives in order to free ourselves from this material entanglement, to them to be able to help others. So similarly, like a doctor who he gives himself the vaccine first before going out and then trying to administer to others. And that way then they can be helpful. Any questions, answers, comments on this point? Cricket. Okay. All right, we'll continue on. Today we are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Chapter 3, text 3. Chapter is entitled Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Rayana namaskritya Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatho Jayam Udirayet Nasa Presha Bhadreshu Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Yatama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistaki. In Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, there's also these wonderful glorification of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam by Srila Sanatana Goswami, which is found as Sri Krishna Lila Stava. It's called the Bhagavatam Mahima Sutra, the glorification of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Sarva Shastri Bhipulasya, Sarva Vedhaka Satphala, Sarva Siddhanta Ratnaya, Sarva Lokaika Drikpadha, Sarva Bhagavata Prana, Śrīmad-Bhāgavata Prabhu, Kali Dhvanta Titoyacha, Shri Krishna Parvivatita. O Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, O nectar churned from the ocean of all Vedic scriptures, you are the most prominent transcendental fruit of all the Vedas, and are enriched with the jewels of all philosophical conclusions. You grant spiritual vision to all people of the world, and are the very life breath of the Vaishnava devotees. O Lord, you are the sun which has arisen to dispel the darkness of Kali Yuga. Actually, you are Lord Krishna who has returned among us. So the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is Krishna himself. So he has come in the form of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and we have to take advantage of his association. He's given it freely. The impetus is on us to pick up the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and read and beg and pray that our ignorance can be removed. The mercy of Guru and Shastra and Krishna. Paramananda Pattaya Prema Vrakshaksharayate Sarvada Sarva Sevaya Shri Krishnaya Namostate Stume. O Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, I offer obeisances unto you. By your recitation one attains transcendental bliss, because your syllables shower down pure love of God. You are to be served by everyone always, for you are an incarnation of Lord Krishna. By your recitation one attains transcendental bliss, because your syllables shower down pure love of God. We see that Srila Prabhupada had full realization of this, so much so that he painstakingly translated word by word every single verse of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, because he understood that every single syllable rains down pure love of God. So he wanted his followers, especially here in the West, where, like myself, so slow, so degraded, can barely even speak English, what to speak of learning Sanskrit. But Prabhupada has given us an opportunity. He's given us the word-for-word meanings of every single verse, which Sanatana Goswami is saying here could shower pure love of God upon the reader. Pure love of God can come just by reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Maharekar bhando matsagin mahatguru madmahadhana manastiraika bhaktya marananda namostute. O Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, O my only friend, my companion, and my teacher, O my great wealth and deliverer, O my good fortune and bliss, I offer respectful obeisances unto you. Asadu sadhu tadhayin ati nicho chadhakara hananmuna kadachin mam premna hrit kantaya spura. O Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O uplifter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Accompanied by pure love of Krishna, please manifest yourself in my heart and throat. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Today's verse is text number 3. Yasya avyaya samstanai kalpita loka vistara vai tatvai bhagavata rupam Vishuddham Sattvam Urjitam Yasya Avyaya Samsthanai Kalpito Lokavistara Dharvai Bhagavato Rupam Vishuddham Sattva Urjitam Yasyavaya samsthanai kalpito lokavistara dharvai bhagavato rupam vishuddham sattvam urjitam yasyavaya samsthanai kalpito lokavistara dharvai bhagavata rupam vishuddham sattvam urjitam. Yasyavaya samsthanai kalpito lokavistaraha tadvai bhagavato rupam vishuddham sattvam urjitam. Yasyavaya samsthanai kalpito lokavistaraha tadvai bhagavato rupam vishuddham sattvam urjitam. Yasyavaya samsthanai kalpito lokavistaraha tadvai bhagavato rupam vishuddham sattvam urjitam. Yasyavaya samsthanai kalpito Kapita Lokavistara Tatvai Bhagavato Rupam Vishudam Sattva Urjitam Yasya Vayava Samstanai Kalpito Lokavistaraha Tatvai Bhagavato Rupam Vishudam Sattva Urjitam Yasya whose Avayava bodily expansion Samsthanai situated in Kalpitaha is imagined Loka planets of inhabitants Vistara various Tatvai but that is Bhagavata the personality of Godhead Rupam form Vishuddham purely Sattvam existence Urjitam excellent. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It is believed that all the universal planetary systems are situated on the extensive body of the Purusha, but he has nothing to do with the created material ingredients. His body is eternally in spiritual existence, par excellence. Purport. The conception of the Virat Rupa or the Vishvarupa of the Supreme Absolute Truth is especially meant for the neophyte who can hardly think of the transcendental form of the personality of Godhead. To him, a form means something of this material world, and therefore an opposite conception of the Absolute is necessary in the beginning to concentrate the mind on the power extension of the Lord. As stated above, the Lord extends His potency in the form of the Mahatattva, which includes all material ingredients. The extension of power by the Lord and the Lord Himself personally are one in one sense, but at the same time, the Mahatattva is different from the Lord. Therefore, the potency of the Lord and the Lord are simultaneously different and non-different. The conception of the Virat Rupa, especially for the impersonalists, is thus non-different from the eternal form of the Lord. This eternal form of the Lord exists prior to the creation of the Mahatattva, and is stressed here that the eternal form of the Lord is par excellence, spiritual, or transcendental to the modes of material nature. The very same transcendental form of the Lord is manifested by His internal potency, and the formation of His multifarious manifestations of incarnations is always of the same transcendental quality, without any touch of the Mahatattva. The translation again. It is believed that all the universal planetary systems are situated on the extensive body of the Purusha, but he has nothing to do with the created material ingredients. His body is eternally in spiritual existence, par excellence. So this chapter is called Krishna is the source of all incarnations. So here it's beginning to describe the beginning of the creation, and then we'll continue on throughout the chapter to describe the different incarnations of Krishna. You have a question?
Yeah. Have we come across the Virat Rupa or the Vishnu Rupa? Is it? I haven't seen it in previous texts. Like, what does it mean?
Well, the Vishvarupa, what the Vishvarupa is the universal form. And in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 11th chapter, this universal form is described. It's described that, there's thousands and thousands of heads and thousands and millions of hands and eyes, and so it's Krishna's universal form. Krishna reveals this form, the Vishvarupa, to Arjuna, because Arjuna asks to see it. And Prabhupada is actually telling in this part of the Bhagavad Gita that this is a barometer we can use for those who say they're God. We can ask them, show me your universal form. And in that way, if they're not able to do it, then we know they're not God. Because this is what Krishna, Arjuna asked this question, show me your universal form. Oh, Krishna, how do I know, you're the Supreme Personality of God? Show me something so amazing that no one in this world can manufacture or create. So then Krishna came, showed him the universal form. And then the universal forms are described, actually the Vishvarupa is described in different ways. Sometimes the earth is described as the universe. You can see the form of the Lord by observing the oceans, and the mountains are the peaks of his hair, and the grasses are his hair, and like that. So what happens is, because in the neophyte stage we don't have a conception of what is something transcendental. What is a transcendental form? What's the conception? We only have conception of material bodies. Even though Krishna is Ishvara, Paramakrishna, Satchidananda Vigraha. What is Satchidananda Vigraha? What is a form composed of eternality, bliss, and knowledge? What conception do we have? We have conception of body composed of earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego, full of stool, urine, blood, mucus, hair. That's our conception of a body. So it goes in various parts of the Bhagavatam. It goes into describing the universal form. So we can, in the neophyte stage, we can start to see that this grand creation is the body of Krishna. So we look at the Himalayas and we're like, wow, so much awe and reverence. And then they say, look, the Himalayas are the peaks of Krishna's hair, and they're like, wow, Krishna must be such an amazing person. But when Arjuna sees this universal form, for a devotee though, that's what it says, Prabhupada is saying here, for the Vishvarupa or the Virat Rupa of the Supreme Absolute Truth is especially meant for the neophyte who can hardly think of the transcendental form of the personality of Godhead. But once we advance, then the devotee, they just want to see the personal form of Krishna. Then actually the universal form becomes something scary. And to Arjuna, he was like, Krishna, take away this form. I can't bear it. It's so fearful. Because at a certain point, you're just like so many heads and so many bodies, and then you're like, whoa, what's going on? And then because we're attracted to personal exchange, to personality. We have a body. We have an eternal spiritual identity. Krishna is eternally existent. So once we become more advanced, then we start to, once Krishna's personality starts to become established in our mind, and then we become more attracted to Krishna as a personality. But these different parts of the Bhagavatam, I was actually going to go in that way, describing how different sections of the Bhagavatam are, you could say, maybe a little difficult to get through. And there's difficult for the person who, in the neophyte stage, and even the beginner or those non-devotees, where it's talking about the hellish planets. There's in the third canto is describing the whole creation, the atoms, how they come about. So all this knowledge is given to scientifically prove that this creation has validity. It's not just something imagined. So it's giving this information so for us who are in the conditioned state can have something to grasp in the beginning. But then that takes us slowly, where we become purified as we're reading through the Bhagavatam. That's what Prabhupada describes in the introduction. That the first 9 cantos have been given so that as we progress through each canto, then we can come to the 10th canto where Krishna's pastimes are described. And he said one must not jump over. And also one must not jump around and select passages that he or she wants to hear. Because as Srila Sanatana Goswami is describing, each syllable of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam rains down pure love of God. So even these so-called pastimes that are describing things that are difficult to read through, the ninth canto describing dynasties. So many names are coming. It's describing all these kings and all their descendants. And you're just reading names, and there's literally chapters and chapters of you're just reading names and names and names and names and names and names. But for the pure devotee, that's pure nectar. Because they understand that Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is not different than Krishna. So every single word in the Bhagavatam should arouse transcendental feelings within our heart. And to the extent that we're not feeling transcendental feeling, I don't know what ecstasy is. I've never felt transcendental. What is transcendental ecstasy? I don't know what that means. So I know I'm a conditioned soul. I know that I have a lot of work to do. So similarly, this is what this reveals to us. You know, that okay, that this, and we can understand how vast the cosmic creation is. What to speak of understanding Krishna? We can't even understand this material world. But so that's what we understand. It's by the mercy of Krishna, by the mercy of his devotees, that we can start to even have a glimpse of understanding these things. So that's the Virat Rupa, and is especially meant for the neophyte. So I was making the point that that you shouldn't jump around to different sections of the Bhagavatam. You should read progressively through, and actually, we have even, you can say, even a greater blessing, that, you know, this Bhagavatam is Nigama Kalpataru Galitam Phalam, which is the ripened fruit of all Vedic knowledge. And it says in that verse, and we'll just read the verse, it's 113. We'll read the translation. Nigama Kalpataro Galitam Phalam Sukam Hukam Amritam Dhravam Samyutam Pibhava Bhagavatam Rasam Alayam Muhu Aho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka. O expert and thoughtful men, relish Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the mature fruit of the desired tree of Vedic literatures, emanated from the lips of Sri Sukadeva Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including liberated souls. And then we can go even further and say it has become even more relishable still, because now we have the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam emanating from the lips of a pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada, who's even further tasted its nectarian juices and is spoon feeding us so we can try to understand something. And the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is so amazing. Just recently, I've started on the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatamrita. Bhagavata Amrita. Amrita is the nectar of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So this is already considered the fruit of all Vedic knowledge. And then the Bhagavatamrita is even a more condensed. And Parikshit Maharaj is hearing the Bhagavatam. At the time of death, he was cursed to die within 7 days. So he asked the question, you know, what is a man to do that's about to die? And, you know, and then his Sukadeva Goswami appeared and told him, you should hear and glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he sat down to hear Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam for 7 days and 7 nights, continuously. They didn't eat. They didn't break for prasadam. You know, they didn't take any naps. They were just so absorbed in hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, because it's not different than Krishna. So after those 7 days, you know, the snake bird is coming to kill him. So he has not much time. I just, in the beginning of Bhagavatam, to describe, there's really no time at all. But Parikshit Maharaj's mother comes, Uttara, and says, my dear son, Parikshit, you have been hearing for these past 7 days the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And now will you please tell me what is the essence of it? So this is even more condensed. You know, it's kind of like, what's more than condensed milk? It's like, you have burfi? What's more than burfi? It's like, you can't, it's like inconceivable. So this is what Bhagavatam is. And then it describes how, then Parikshit Maharaj goes on to start in a couple different stories, also describing Narada Muni, how he goes throughout to find the purest devotees, or who is the topmost devotee of Krishna. And right in the beginning, it's describing how the devotees in general, they will always say that someone else is a better devotee than themselves. So it goes on in this way, and Narada is just looking around, who's the best devotee, who's the best devotee. Finally, he comes to the gopis of Vrindavan. Anyway, that's what Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is meant to bring us to this understanding of who Krishna is, and it is the topmost nectar. And we can continue to read it. The more we read it, the more we will relish it, the more we will become purified, the more we become cleansed, the more we become qualified to understand who is Krishna. Okay, so today we actually have a meeting, and I'm sorry that I didn't really go into the verse so much, but that was really nice Christian cruise. We were told to end at 8:15, so if anybody has any questions.
The offering is being gone up.
Yeah, we should still do it. Just again.
If you want to speak a few extra minutes, you can. I don't want to conflict this cut the class like that. A few extra minutes is fine.
Okay. To him, a form means something of this material world, and therefore an opposite conception of absolute is necessary in the beginning to concentrate the mind on the power extension of the Lord. So, well, I guess we can take some questions for discussion then.
All right.
We'll do that. Or some discussion.
Yeah. You want to elaborate on why the Vishwarupa is a form that's meant for the neophyte?
Elaborate on that. Why it benefits the neophyte.
Why is it a neophyte conception, not a subject of meditation for the transcendentalists?
So for the pure devotees like Arjuna, he was like in the I was mentioning in the Bhagavad Gita, the universal form becomes something fearful for him, and he just tells Krishna, just please go back into your normal form of two hands, because ultimately you can't have a relationship with the Vishwarupa, the universal form. So the pure devotees are interested in what? Rasa. Rasa. There's the 5 relationships you can have with Krishna. Actually, for the Vaishnavas, it's 4. We're not interested in Santa, Krishna is there and I'm here, but I won't do any service. No, for the Vaishnavas, there's Dasya, which is servitorship, Sakya, friendship, Vatsalya, parental relationship, and Madhurya, conjugal love. So these things, you can only have these relationships with the person. So that's why the advanced transcendentalist, the pure devotee, wants to experience or be in connection with Krishna in his personal form. And so the Vishwarupa, like I was saying before, is to kind of give us some awe and reverence. Wow, God is so great. He's so amazing. Look at this universe. Look at everything He's created. All these planets everywhere. Wow, these mountains of gold and this and that. But that's just in the beginning. And then for the advanced transcendental, then he wants to understand, who is Krishna? What is my relationship? How can I serve Krishna? And we see in the pastimes of Krishna in the Krishna book. It's described that Krishna and the cowherd boys, when they're playing, they're playing regular games, hide and seek, leapfrog. They're playing with each other. They're feeding each other. This is the highest thing for the transcendentalists. So reading through the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and brings us to this point eventually.
It's also imaginary.
It's imaginary. Yeah, because it's describing different parts.
Yeah.
Right, to Krishna. It's described also, like sometimes it's described like the lower planetary systems are his legs, the middle is abdomen, and the top is, and then Svetadweep, his face, and like that. So it's just giving some form to this universe. So we start to have some conception. Krishna. Close?
No.
That was a good question in the beginning. Krishna Prasad? Any questions? Comments? Okay, so I guess we'll end here.
All right.
Thank you all for tuning in online. Thank you all for your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada ki, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki, Gaura Premanandi.